Hi everybody, Lars Christensen here, part of Autodesk Technical Marketing team. Let's do a couple of quick Inventor tips. Let's talk about some sketching tips if you are new to Inventor. So if you look at my screen here, I got a fairly simple sketch. And I think if I should give the first tip away is if you're new to Inventor, keep your sketches simple. Don't put everything into one sketch, but create a sketch, extrude it, create another sketch, cut, so don't make things overly complicated. So tip number one is when you're sketching inside of Inventor, keep your sketches simple and then build on them. Another thing is that when we have these sketches, the first thing you want to apply is your constraints and then your dimensions. So that's another little quick tip here. Now, one of the things that, I think is important to know when it comes to constraints, because they're kind of like the glue in our sketches, there is up here a constraint setting. So you can definitely, experiment a little bit in here with how Autodesk handles the constraints. But the one thing I like to show is this setting down here in the bottom. And that will turn your constraints on and off in the screen. You can also do that with an F8 to turn it on and F9 to turn it off. But it's just kind of nice when you're working inside of Inventor that you can kind of like turn these on or off depending on if things gets a little crowded. Now, in a previous quick tip, I showed how you could kind of like customize the look of your part. And one of the things I did was change the background color. Now you will see here that I got this presentation background. And one of the things that is pretty neat about Inventor is that depending on what background you have, that will show the sketches different, because Inventor gives you some great feedback when it comes to in this sketching environment, depending on constraining our sketches. We're removing these degrees of freedom, right, to make the sketches flexible or tie them down depending on what we want. So depending on what background color you have, that actually determines how that displays. So let me show you where you can change that. Maybe you if you're brand new, you're probably using the window background, but maybe you're sitting at somebody else's, have taken over somebody else's seat of Inventor, and they have maybe customized things. So you go up to Tools, and in here you can go into Application Settings. In here you have the color, and there's some different options in here. Play around with it. The window night is the default, and that is probably, actually, if you're a new user, probably the one I would recommend you to use. You will see kind of like how it pops up with colors here. So the neon green, hello 80s theme here shows you what still needs to be constrained, and the dark blue shows you what have all been tied down. So it's pretty cool that the software gives you this feedback with the background color. You will see here that if I delete this 5mm dimension, that then everything turns green, and if I apply it again, you will see that now it turns blue. So that will give you that feedback. Good stuff to know. Another trick that is pretty neat about Inventor, when you are putting your constraints and your dimensions on, like I said before, we are kind of like getting rid of the degrees of freedom. You can actually, if you highlight your sketch and you right click in here, there's an option called Display Degrees of Freedom. Now that one is pretty neat. When you turn that on, it will actually show you in the sketch where things can still move. And you can of course right click and turn it off again. Now what is neat is you can also just window select certain portions and turn this function on and off, because sometimes you want to just concentrate on one certain area. So neat things. Now while I'm in my right click, I definitely have to show you the sketch doctor. This is an option that I think that many people kind of like miss out on. What the sketch doctor is great at is that if you have a sketch and you maybe have an issue extruding it out, something is just not right, many times it's your sketch that has an issue with it. So you can right click, select sketch doctor, and when you select it, it will take you through this menu where you can just kind of like diagnose what is happening with your sketch. And you will see here that I have down in the lower left corner here, I have a little highlight, and somebody must have created a little sketch geometry we don't need. And you have some different options in here, so you can click, and then you can go in and edit it, and I can just get rid of this sketch entity because I don't really need it. Now, another thing that comes that many people missing that is sitting right there down here in the lower left, it actually Inventor actually shows you dimensions that is still needed to fully define your sketch. This is an option that is really cool. So you will see here that if I apply another dimension, the count actually goes down. So Inventor is giving you this kind of feedback to do that. Now, the last function I want to show you in here is this function up here called automatic dimension and constraints. So if you are at the point where you cannot really figuring out what other dimensions or constraints you need in your sketch, you maybe try to drag the corners around, then you can hit this automatic dimension and constraints option, and it will actually apply the dimensions constraints for you. So you will see here that I get a radius that I was missing here. Now you will also see in here that I have an extra dimension up here that you might questioning where that is coming from. That's just another tip. I actually have a construction line right here in the center, and that's what Inventor is mentioning too. The reason that I have that construction line is because when I model up this outer bump here, I actually use the mirror command over up on the sketch menu up here. Don't forget about these great options up here. There's no, you can be lazy when you're working in CAD. So this is a little trick that you don't have to draw everything twice. You can use something like the mirror function. Hey, I hope that you enjoyed these quick tips here if you're new to sketching inside of Inventor. Hey, until the next time, you have an awesome 3D day.